People of Reddit in virtual classes. What was the worst? Oops, I left my camera mic on moment. Maybe not quite the same thing, but yesterday a girl fell asleep with her camera on, and she was just lying there with her eyes closed and mouth open for the rest of the lecture, getting the eye roll lecture experience. My brother was in class and my mother started to scream, "Your room stinks." I'll sum it up. I had wireless headphones with a mic and left to go to the bathroom. I'm a professor running Zoom classes right now. Just the other day I had a student shout "piece of sh" in the middle of one of my lectures. I asked him if my lecture on research credibility was really making him that angry, and then heard "oh sh, my mic is." I was yelling to my mom what I wanted for lunch. I looked back at the screen and everybody was laughing. My sister was in a Zoom lecture for her university course. All were required to turn on cameras for this specific lecture, and some guy obviously forgot and lit a joint on camera to 30 plus other students and his lecturer forgot. I'm a music professor, and one day I was playing an example for my class that was about a minute and a half long. Afterwards I realized that I never turned on audio sharing. I apologized to the students and laughed, and one of them said, "It's cool, Professor Plug 5. It's fun to sit and watch you vibe to music." A girl I know had her camera and mic on for answering some question. Her dad didn't know that she was attending classes and he farted out loud. We saw her die on the inside. Was watching Game of Thrones and it was on a sex scene while in class. But then the teacher gave us a classwork and she told me to screen share it, but I screen shared the wrong screen. More like my cat turned the mic on as I'm yelling and swearing at him to get off my keyboard. We were in a Zoom session with my daughter's therapist and our foster cat stepped on the power button and turned the laptop off mid-conversation. When we rejoined he said he figured something was up because he saw a cat body go by, then we disappeared. Kid screamed F loudly when we were starting a test. Probably saw the first question then just died inside. Someone in my class turned on their mic, coughed loudly for 20-ish seconds, and turned it off. Calamity ensued. Yelling down to my mother, "Yes, Russia is an Asia." During physics bonus round. Cussing out a fighting game during a rough match while my dad was, unbeknownst to me, in a meeting, unmuted, nearby. I had a Socratic seminar, so it was mandatory to keep our cameras on. I forgot about it and thoroughly licked a yogurt container I has just finished. I still don't know if anyone noticed. I was in a Discord server chatting with friends. Somehow, the Discord conversation started talking about Velociraptor body pillows. Now I was smart enough not to be in class when the conversation started to unfold. One of my friends, however, was in class and left his mic on. The teacher ended up muting him and talking to him after class. Never did found out about his class reaction to Velociraptor body pillows. I've been told I killed my 11yo social life by yelling "enjoy the diarrhea" at her younger sister when I saw she had eaten an entire box of ice cream bars at once. I was in another room and had no idea my voice carried. I was meeting with my project group for the first time when my boyfriend busts through the door holding my cat with a cat butt aimed at me making machine gun noises. Had to keep my mic video off for like 10 minutes after due to uncontrollable bouts of laughter. We established the ground rule door closed in meeting after that. Once someone's bird escaped from the cage and was flying around everywhere. The guy forgot to turn off his camera and started chasing it around. Everyone was laughing. Someone was listening to music. We don't know what it is because the volume was too low, but it was just funny. Someone unmuted his mic to say something and someone in the background said "Legio" in a really loud voice. It killed all of us. Haha. Someone unmuted themselves and wanted to say something, but their young sibling said "holy sh" in a really loud voice. Again. We all died from that. Even the host was laughing. My husband is a chemistry professor. He was teaching a class via Zoom and overheard a female student say she'd like to punch him in the face. Hahaha. I guess they have bad chemistry. Had my teacher ask me a question while I was mid-conversation with someone who told me they could do an Elmo impression. Naturally, I asked for an example. After being called on and bullshitting an answer, I was so invested in this chick's Elmo impression that I forgot to mute my mic. Broadcasted someone saying my name is Elmo to the entire class, loudly. I sneezed and a huge booger flew out. They saw. Some of it got on my hand. Some of it got on the camera. 5th grade student's mom in the background. At full volume. Well, you tell that MF that the next time I see him I'm cutting his balls off as I try desperately to figure out which one is unmuted and mute them. Poor girl was totally unfazed, so she likely hears similar all the time. Everyone else just stared in shock for a couple of seconds until one kid just unmutes and goes, "That's not school appropriate language at all." Another student, different time, had Nana wander through the background, completely nude, using a walker, so she's just slowly limping through frame. Either I'm the only one who noticed, or these 10-year-olds have amazing poker faces, but I have no idea how I would have dealt with the fallout of that if they'd said anything. I just took to loudly reminding students that anything we can see in the camera counts as part of school and needs to be dressed or seated appropriately, in the hopes that families hear. We had a guy in his car, unmutes his mic during a presentation to answer a question, and forgot to mute. Presentation carries on and then we abruptly hear him start ordering his lunch from Burger King through the drive-thru. Presentation stops. Everyone listens to this poor kid order his whole lunch. Another kid unmutes, "Can I get an order of Mozza sticks?" About 5 minutes of laughter before the presentation restarted. I was on a virtual classroom whilst simultaneously messaging a WhatsApp group me and some others in that class were in. Someone made a funny joke when someone was speaking on the group and the person who was speaking saw the message and started laughing. I took a live proctored exam on Wednesday, in a room that abuts my horse's run outside. In the middle of the test, my 31-year-old horse let out the longest, loudest flatulence I've heard. 15 seconds plus. Yes, the window was open. No, the proctor couldn't see the window or the horse. For all they know, it was me. My mom was making a chili paste. I commented, "Smells delicious." Across the back porch, the teacher stopped the lesson and asked if I would be sharing. In another class, a university course, a student left their device with a toddler. The kid somehow unmuted the mic and started babbling happily. It was adorable, but the teacher was annoyed because she had to exit her PowerPoint to mute the kid. Not me, but this kid in my friend's class got caught digging for gold in his nose. During a one-on-one, my co-worker was screen sharing on Zoom so we could both see and discuss the changes to a document in real time. After an hour, we decided to take a 10-minute break. I went to the washroom and came back to my computer seeing he still had his screen share on and navigated to our NSFW website. I waited until he returned from his break, and I didn't mention anything. Hey, we all make mistakes, and in these trying times, why take away any pleasure or make an interaction uncomfortable? As someone who's done something similar, the haunting realization of leaving screen share on only comes after the call is over. The next several hours is spent overanalyzing everything to judge whether the other person saw anything, and then calculating how much respect you lost if they did see it. Not the worst but funny. Teacher warned us he was going to ask a bunch of questions and he expected participation. I said instinctively, "Oh god no," and he heard me crystal clear. Our teacher was checking if we all were present. Her connection was really bad. We all couldn't understand anything she said. One of my classmates unknowingly that his mic was on. WTF does that idiot think? We can't even hear her. Somehow she could hear that perfectly. Not in a class and just with friends, but I accidentally left my mic on while eating soup once. When I put my headphones back on, everyone was laughing hysterically at what they thought was weird sex noises. My wife went on a profanity-laden rant about her professor, who assigned 100+ homework problems the week before the final to me during class. She was not muted. The professor was also teaching from a sports bar where he was having dinner and drinks while watching a basketball game, and his waitress called him out on it. It didn't happen to me, but my friend said out loud that she hadn't attended the lessons for ages and that the teacher was ugly. Of course the teacher screamed, "Turn the mic off." I asked a question during a lecture and the teacher was answering me. She was standing at the board away from her computer, so I'm hoping she didn't hear me muttering what the F as she was explaining it. I was getting more confused lol. My mic was on. I wanted to die.